we're just going to do a short flow today to move your body and get a little bit into the hips. So opening up through our hip flexors and the glutes a little bit. So to start, we'll just come into a child's. So you can take your knees wide and big toes to touch and slide your hands forwards, just coming down into whatever shape of child's works for you to start here today. So you don't have to have the knees too wide if you're feeling it, and you might want to have something between your hips and your heels, supporting your buttocks as you rest back, and perhaps something underneath your head like your stacked hands or a block. Take a nice full breath in here. Exhale it out. And one more like that, breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. Feeling the ground underneath your body, just taking a moment here as we settle to acknowledge and connect, pay respects to this country that we're on, wherever you are, acknowledging the first peoples of that land, paying your gratitude and respects to their elders past and present and those emerging. I acknowledge here that I'm on the unceded lands of the Taungurung people, the Dudaroa. Take a moment to honour your own body, listening into what might be present today. And then just taking a little bit of a movement, a little bit of a sway from side to side with your hips. And then walking your hands all the way over towards your left side and just drawing your right hip back as you stretch out through the right side of your body. Full breath in and out. And walking your hands all the way back to center, and then walking them over to the right side, stretching out through that left side of the body, drawing your left hip back. Nice full breath in, full breath out. And then walking your hands back to center. We'll come up to all fours, so finding your tabletop position, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back and find downward facing dog. And again, you might just have a little sway of the hips from side to side, bending one knee, drawing the opposite heel to the floor. Making sure that those hands are spread nice and wide, and then finding center and pressing your hands into the earth as you lengthen through your spine. And just keep those knees as soft as they need to be, seeing if you can really find a little bit of softness through the front of your hips. And then from there, walking your hands back towards you. So walk the hands towards the feet and come into a forward fold. You can take your hands up onto a block or some height if you need to here, letting your head and shoulders relax. And then pressing into your feet, slowly roll yourself all the way up to stand. So finding your mountain, letting the arms rest down beside your body. And actually just taking your hands to your hips for a moment. So soften the knees, make sure they're not locked. Spread your feet. And then just for a moment, taking a few little tilts with the pelvis. So tucking the pelvis under a little bit and then lifting it up and back so that you're finding those edges of the movement of the pelvis so that it's probably too tucked under and then too tilted in the other direction, and then see if you can find that point in the middle, obviously without any pain in the body, but just exploring the edges of those tilts and then finding the place where you feel like your pelvis is neutral. So there's still this natural curve of the spine. And then from there you can start to press into the feet and straighten the legs without locking the knees. Take a full breath in. Breathing right down into the base of the belly. And then breathing out. And then from here, take an inhale, sweep your arms up, reach up. And then bring the hands down through the center line of your body, coming into forward fold. And take a halfway lift inhale here. And then as you exhale, walk your hands forward. So walking the hands all the way forwards to find plank. So you can shift forwards onto your toes. And then we'll bring the knees down to the ground, bend your elbows and lower your chest all the way to the earth. And then pressing into your hands, press into the tops of your feet so your kneecaps lift, and lift the chest. So not too far, just lifting your chest up and really focusing on anchoring your pubic bone down into the earth. Take a breath in. Exhale, press your way all the way back to find downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, we'll take the right leg to the sky. And we'll step that right foot forwards between the hands and come down to your left knee. Sweep your hands up, find your low lunge. And then drop your right elbow to your right thigh and lift your left arm up and over. So finding a stretch, maybe a little bit more of a stretch down through the left side of the body and the left hip. Inhale there. As you exhale, bring the hands back to center and hands to the heart, and then twist, taking your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Keep drawing your right hip back, so really focusing on strengthening through that right glute. Look up over your right shoulder for a moment. Continuing to breathe long into the lower belly. And then releasing, taking your hands down to frame your front foot. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, stretching out through the back of your right leg. The right toes can lift. Inhale, rock forwards. And exhale, rock back. It's kind of flossing action through the front and back of the hips. And one more. And then shifting forward and step your way all the way back to find downward facing dog. From there, ripple forwards, coming to your toes, ripple forwards to plank. And then send your hips up and back, downward facing dog again. Left leg lifting to the sky, full breath in. Step your left foot forwards between your hands and drop down to that back knee. Inhale the hands up, reach up. And then drop your left elbow down, right arm reaching up and over the top. So finding that stretch, again down through the right side of the body. Relax your right shoulder. Inhale there. Exhale, hands down to the heart and then twisting, taking your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. So if you can maybe stack the elbows there as you draw your heart towards your hands. And we're still anchoring down through the back foot, the back shin, engaging through your left glute and your right. And then let's come back to center. Hands framing your front foot, take a breath in there and send your hips back, stretching out through the back of your left leg. Inhale, come forwards. And then exhaling back and maybe seeing if you can find a little more depth each time you do this. And shifting forwards all the way to your lunge, step your way back into your downward facing dog. From here, optional, rippling forwards to your plank, hovering there. And then bending the knees, lift the hips up and back, down dog. Inhale and exhale. And then bend your knees and look forwards and step your feet towards your hands, towards the front of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Let's do one more like that, grounding through the feet, soft knees. Lift your chest, hands can travel up towards your shins if you need more space. And then fold. And then roll yourself all the way back up to stand, sweep up, reach up. And hands to the heart. Let's come down to chair from here. So feet stay underneath your hips, send your tailbone down and back, reach your hands up. Again, see if you can find that balance of stability. So we're supporting the body through wrapping these muscles around the bones, the inside thighs drawing up, pelvic floor drawing up. But then also finding that softness so that you can breathe into your belly. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift there. And step both of your feet back to find plank. Coming through chaturanga here, so shifting forwards. And then either with the knees on or off the mat, bend your elbows lower down. Inhale, your chest lifts, and maybe you lift up a little higher this time. Keeping the chest nice and broad, so just come as high as you can, keeping that openness through your chest without dumping through the lower back, so finding length. And then press back to find your downward facing dog. You're going to step right foot forwards between your hands, ground your left heel and come up to find warrior one. So both feet planted firmly on the floor, the tailbone lengthening, the lower ribs drawn in, finding that depth in your shape and really pressing out through the outside edge of your left foot. So we're opening up through that hip complex here. Inhale there. Exhale, hands down to the mat, stepping back to find plank. You can come through chaturanga here, or you can come all the way back to downward facing dog. And finding your down dog and taking the left leg to the sky. Step your left foot forwards, right heel grounds, coming up to warrior one on the other side. Again, really anchoring down through the outside of that right foot. Hands can be together or apart. Just watching that you don't let those lower ribs poke out and the lower back crunch. So we want to keep that stability and that connection through the core so that we give a chance for these hips to open. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat, stepping back through your flow or through to downward facing dog or child's if you want to take child's. And finding your own flow here. Bend the knees, look forwards. Step your feet all the way forwards, halfway lift. Exhaling, folding. And then rolling all the way up. Keep the weight on your right foot and lift your left knee. Hands to the sky. And then drawing your hands down towards your heart, place your left ankle on your right thigh, bend the right knee, send the hips back, open eagle. Inhaling and exhaling here. And then coming up, lift your left knee, and then place the foot on the inside of your right leg, so finding your tree. The foot can be at the ankle, the calf, or all the way up to the inner thigh. And then pressing the foot against the leg against the foot, lifting up through the crown of your head. And your arms can lift too. Nice smooth breaths. And then hands drawing back down towards your heart. Bring your left knee forwards, place both feet on the ground, just give your legs a little shake out. And then taking the weight into your left leg, cross your right ankle onto your left thigh. So open eagle here, hands can reach up and then draw down towards your heart. Drawing your tailbone down and back. Noticing how this side might feel compared to the other in terms of balance and openness. Two more breaths. And then lifting up, lift your right knee and take the foot to the inside of the thigh or the calf or ankle. And find your balance in Vrikshasana tree. Nice engagement through your left glute. When you feel you've got your balance, you might take your hands up towards the sky. And your shoulders soften and your face soften. bring your hands back down to your heart. Take your left knee forwards, both feet planting on the earth. Bend and straighten the legs a couple of times. Give your legs a little wiggle and a shake. Hands reaching up, reach to the sky. And then folding forwards. And take a halfway lift here, really extending out of your pelvis through the crown of your head. And then step back to find plank. Shifting forwards and lowering through chaturanga, or coming to downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the chest. And back to down dog. Let's take the right leg up to the sky, inhale. Step your right foot forwards and pop it to the outside of your mat as far as you can. Hands on the inside. You can stay up on the back toes or drop to your back knee to find lizard. It's depending on whether you want to build a bit more strength in that back leg or find more depth in the shape. And you might even take your right hand and encourage your right knee out to the side. And from there, you can walk your right foot over towards the left side of the mat, drop your right knee down and come to pigeon. If you don't want to come into pigeon, you could take either the needle or another glute stretch on your back. Coming down to your forearms or all the way down. Taking a few breaths here. And then coming all the way back up again, taking your way back into downward facing dog. And shake out the legs a little bit if you like, or shift the hips from side to side. And then we'll step left foot all the way to the outside of your mat, coming onto the back knee if you like, or staying on the back toes. And perhaps that option of using your left hand to encourage the knee out to the side. Taking another full breath here. And then back to center, left foot coming over to the right side of the mat. If you can find pigeon from there, or coming into this shape, or one on your back if you prefer to take a glute stretch. One more nice full breath in this shape. Hands back up onto the mat. Step your way back into downward facing dog. Roll forwards to plank. Dropping the knees to the ground. Bend your elbows. Come all the way down. And then finding Sphinx here, sliding your hands forwards and lifting your chest. Just feeling that opening through the front of your hips and your belly. So anchor down through your feet and find that length. So the pubic bone is heavy and the spine is lengthening out from that space. Perhaps you come onto your hands here if that feels available. And lowering yourself all the way back down again. Just resting for a moment with your head on your hands. And take your hands underneath your shoulders. Press your way all the way back to find child's again. Hips back to the heels. Taking an inhale to come up to all fours. Exhale, downward facing dog. And again, walking your hands back towards your feet, taking the feet wide. You might like to have something to sit on here. We're coming down into a squat. So you could just come down into quite a high squat, maybe supporting with your hands on your knees. Or you can come down lower and you may want to have a block underneath your sit bones to support your pelvis. If you can come down all the way, your heels might lift here, hands to your heart, pressing your knees out into your inner thighs. Malasana. Close your eyes and breathe and feel what's happening in your body. And then bring your hands down towards the floor, lift the hips, come into your forward fold. Walking your hands all the way back out again to find downward facing dog. And then bring your feet to the center, crossing the ankles, coming down to your sit bones. And you can lower yourself down gently to the floor, so onto your back, rolling your spine down, head coming down, just letting your body settle here with your feet wide and your knees together. Bringing your feet flat to the floor, back hips distance apart. We'll just come up into a bridge here. Hands down beside your body, press into your feet, lift your hips. You can roll your shoulders underneath you if you like. You may want to bring a block underneath your hips for supported bridge. Or you can stay pressing into your feet, lifting your hips to the sky. Roll your shoulders out from underneath you, and you might even lift your heels so that you've got space to roll your spine all the way back down to the earth again, feeling that articulation, particularly of the lower back, so the lower belly drawing in to support that descent down. And then as you get there, taking your feet together and your knees wide into reclined butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana. Let your face soften. Allow your body to settle on the earth. Relaxing your jaw. Relaxing your belly. Perhaps a full breath in and a sighing breath out. And you can stay here, or you could extend your legs long and come into Shavasana for a minute here, just to let this practice integrate. And then stretching your arms up and over your head. So stretching all the way out from fingertips to toes. You can bend your knees up and roll yourself over to one side and use your hands to support you to come back up into your seat. So finding a comfortable seat for you. Just bring the palms of your hands together in front of your heart, closing your practice. Perhaps bowing your head towards your hands and setting perhaps an intention to take with you off your mat. Bringing your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows to connect with your deepest wisdom. Thumbs back to the heart for that connection with all beings. And taking a bow forwards to honour your connection with the earth. And thank you for doing this practice today. Hope it serves you well. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.